Hey guys, some gamer dude here. So I didn't get to talk about Alfred or Silent Tom. I'm just going to quickly give you my opinions on them. Excuse, I know that the screen capture on my computer isn't the greatest, but it's legible enough for what we're doing. Considering I'll be reading the text anyway. Um, OBS just doesn't like my computer, so I have to rely on the Windows built-in one, and it's potato quality. But at least I don't have to hold the camera up to the screen anymore. That's something. Anyway, so let's start with Alfred. He's the Force, grade 3, 13,000 we all expected him to be. Now, everyone was bitching about him when he first came out. Oh, this is boring, it's not explosive, etc., etc. I honestly don't know what you're expecting at this point. It had been pretty well established by that point that Soul Saver Dragon was Royal Paladin's explosion. What else did you want? I will also state I don't think this completely superannuates um, Alfred early, because Alfred early can still +2 via having what's his name, Blaster Blade in the Soul. But let's just get into this because you can see what it says on the screen. Act once per turn on Vanguard, counterblast 1. Search your deck for one Blaster Blade, call it to rearguard, and that unit gains plus 5,000 until end of turn. Shuffle your deck. And then as a continuous, he has a plus 10,000 for having Blaster Blade out. Now, we'll establish this first fully. If you're using Blaster Blade for the effect, you're probably doing it wrong. The reason I say that is resources are so scarce in Vanguard V at the moment. If you want the +1s to give you stuff, if you want to draw cards via Alan, if you want to Soul Save a Dragon at all in a reasonable amount of time, Blaster Blade is essentially blank. I think there is a time and a place for Blaster Blade, but you have to handle your resources correctly. Blaster Blade, I think, can only be gotten off once per game, max. Either that, or you're not running Soul Save a Dragon at the very least. There's no way you can manage the resources very easily to use Blaster Blade multiple times. Either that, or you're dicking around and your opponent can't get off their own victory condition. That'd be the only other reason you could do this. Anyway, this isn't bad for any stretch of the imagination. It's 25,000 to the board, or a consistent 20,000. 10,000 from your force gift. I keep saying force trigger, but it's a gift. 10,000 from the Blaster Blade on the rearguard, and 5,000 to the Blaster Blade for the turn. The Blaster Blade's actually really interesting because with Wingo, you can boost it all the way up to 28,000 for the turn. That's great. The other 10,000 to another column, it's probably going to be around the 28,000 itself. And then your Vanguard column is probably around 28,000. You can boost them all higher than this, but this is enough force to put such a serious dent in other people, other decks, that it's going to help that Soul Saver Dragon play later on make a huge win the game, really. Because Soul Saver Dragon's going to be 100,000 plus the turn it comes down to the board. That's a hefty amount. But because Protect basically exists and the shields are so high, you want to be able to make a dent big enough that you can break through with it. You don't want to go, well, that whiffed, didn't it? You could stop it. And yeah, this is what this is for. It's for sitting on and just grinding them down until Soul Saver Dragon can descend and just win the game. Anyone who goes, oh, it's not explosive, oh, it's not winning the game, is honestly looking at it the wrong way. They're expecting it to be something it's not intended to be, and frankly, after we saw Soul Saver Dragon, I don't think it was ever intended to be. I think it's a good card. Again, it's not explosive, but you're looking at it the wrong way. It's also not interesting, but it doesn't help that I'm not a huge fan of Royal Paladin, or actually that Paladins in general other than Gold, because I think it's a bit more entertaining. Anywho, yeah, I think it's a good card. I think you really need it If you're on a budget instead of Alfred early, maybe not. Alfred early still gives you a +2 if you can ride Blaster Blade. Alfred early still gives you a +1 for playing a card, +1 in the hand, mind you. And Alfred early, it's still fine. Gives you the +10,000 to Blaster Blade for the turn. It's Alfred early is honestly better at promoting rewriting than King of Knights Alfred is. I think that's worth noting. So let's get over to Silent Tom because we're talking about Alfred for 5 minutes. Silent Tom, everyone's hyping up, and I think a lot of it has to do with, well, it's coming out now that Oracle Think Tank is not as bad as everyone expected it to be, and is actually pretty much best clan. I want to see it in person before I fully succumb to that, and I want to be on both sides of the table with it, but that's what people are saying, and Silent Tom is deadly strong in Premium. But that said, I don't think Premium's going to be around that long, all things considered. People really seem to be bagging it as this highly broken shitfest, and the cards are devaluing rapidly. Cards that used to be $50, I'm seeing for $6 on clearance now. So I honestly don't expect Premium to be around pretty much after this year. If it lasts till the end of next year, I will be surprised. It's probably just going to peter out as this the standard starts up, and then by the end of the year we'll have what 4 or 5 sets by then, 3 5 sets. I think by then we'll start to hit the point, and that's also when I think the G era is gone, and it's just premium or standard. I think that's when you'll start to see Premium disappear. The cards are already becoming worthless. That's not a good sign. Anyway, Silent Tom. I think it's about our 4th or 5th card from Oracle Think Tank that gains +6,000, but arguably it's the worst one. When placed, cost Counterblast 1, gains +6,000 to the end of the turn. The rest can gain it on a whim or just have it as something really easily ignited or a continuous. This is only when placed. It's hard to activate, to be honest. And continuous Vanguard or Reguard Circle. When it attacks a Vanguard, your opponent cannot call normal units to the Guardian Circle. Now, I'm going to say I don't care about Premium. I've already started. I don't think it's even worth worrying about at this point. But I will say I think this is shit in Standard. Maybe shit's a bit overstated, but I don't think it's good. The perfect cards that aren't the budget choices, kudos to Bushiroad for going ahead with those budget choices. Great idea. Approve. Happy with it. But if you're running an expensive build, which, given how fast double rares drop these days, I don't think is out of the realm of possibility that you can even afford the nicer perfect cards, this ain't doing jack against it. Likewise, with how strong the shields are on triggers these days, you are aware that if this has no boost other than its own, it only needs a 15,000 shield to stop. Whoop-de-freaking do, Basil. And yeah, even with the boosts, what's the best boost you're going to get it? Probably the D, which I keep wanting to say GOAT, but D. It's going to gain, the column it's in is going to gain 20,000 from that. And if you double stack crits on it, it's another 20,000. So it's 63,000 versus their 13. Okay. Yeah, 2 heals and 2 crits will stop it. I know that sounds like a hell of a lot, and it kind of is. But honestly, if you're in the D area of the game, you're probably kind of boned anyway. Because it'd still be what? 6 grade 1s? Something not happening? You need those criticals and heals, or fronts and heals, or fronts, criticals and heals to stop it, and more reasonably on any other turn other than the push turn, which Oracle Think Tanks had since the beginning. It's pretty easy to stop. And if Oracle Think Tank feels confident enough to go with the D, they're probably going to win anyway. I'm just saying, guys. Anyway, I'm not overly hyped for it. I can see the reason you would use it, but it feels less of the staple that the original one did. The original one was four of it. It's the only way to win. This is more. It helps the finishing turn, but considering you're scrying 7 for 2 crits, and you give the board plus, I think it's plus 70,000 all up. No, sorry, 60. It's not a forced claim. Plus 60,000. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think there's much need to run more than 3, honestly. Maybe 4 if there's nothing better to run, but I don't think it's quite as necessary as the original Silent Tom was. I think the deck's got enough outside of it to make that dent. If you can't afford it, I don't think it's such a big loss to your deck. Anyway, this has been some Gamer Dude. I hope this one's okay. I re-recorded this because my first one I was going through everything. It ended up a 20-minute video. It was boring. And I thought I'd just go back to the immediate things I had to cover. I'm looking to try things out very soon. Maybe next week if I can't organise something online. Because I've only got really Untapped to play with. I'm not particularly familiar with Cardfight Arena yet, or Area, or whatever it's called. But anyway, as soon as I get information for you guys, actual play information, I'm gonna start making more videos about decks, individual cards, and how more they function in real life than Theory Guard. And I hope you enjoy those. I'll see you guys next video.